Life is full of challenges. Every day we wake up to a world that demands more from us: more strength, more patience, more resilience. We chase dreams, fight battles, carry burdens that no one else can see. Some days we feel like we are on top of the world, and other days we feel like the world is on top of us. In these moments, in the highs and the lows, there is one unshakable truth that we must hold on to: we are never alone. Life is unpredictable. One moment everything feels perfect, and in the next the ground beneath us shakes. Struggles come uninvited, disappointments creep in, and the weight of expectations can feel unbearable. We try to be strong, to hold it all together, to show the world that we've got it under control, but deep inside we know life is not always in our hands. No matter how much we plan, prepare, or push forward, there are moments when nothing seems to go our way. But here's the truth: strength is not about controlling everything. It's about knowing where to turn when things fall apart. The greatest battles are not won by sheer willpower alone, but by aligning ourselves with something greater than our circumstances. There is wisdom that has stood the test of time, a guiding force that lights the path even in the darkest moments. When we pray, we open the door to that wisdom. When we put divine words first, we stop reacting to life and start responding with purpose. Think about the people who have truly conquered life, not just with success, but with peace, clarity, and resilience. They are not the ones who never face challenges. They are the ones who knew where to find strength when challenges came. They understood that no battle is bigger than the power of faith. No storm lasts forever when you stand on truth, and no failure defines you when you are rooted in something unshakable. The world will always throw obstacles in our way. It will test our patience, shake our confidence, and try to convince us that we are not enough. But when we choose to pray, when we choose to make sacred wisdom the foundation of our decisions, we stop being victims of circumstances and start becoming architects of our destiny. We don't just survive hardship, we rise above it. We don't just chase success, we create impact. True strength is not found in avoiding struggles, but in knowing that no struggle is bigger than the power we walk with. When we begin each day by seeking wisdom, when we face each challenge with faith, we step into a life that is not controlled by fear, but led by purpose. And that is the kind of life that changes the world. Life is a rhythm of ups and downs. Some days we wake up feeling unstoppable, as if the universe is working in our favor. The road ahead seems clear, and everything we've worked for starts falling into place. But then there are days when the very same road feels uncertain, full of unexpected turns, setbacks, and disappointments. In those moments, doubt creeps in. We start questioning ourselves, questioning our path, questioning if we're strong enough to keep going. But strength is not about never falling. It's about knowing that every fall is temporary. Every setback is a setup for something greater, and every storm eventually runs out of rain. No high lasts forever, and no low defines us, unless we let it. When life is good, it's easy to feel confident, to believe that we have everything under control. But true faith is tested in the moments when nothing makes sense, when prayers feel unanswered, and when the silence feels heavier than the words we long to hear. That is when we must remind ourselves we are never alone. No matter how far we feel from the light, it is always there, waiting for us to turn back to it. The truth is, we were never meant to figure everything out on our own. There is wisdom greater than our understanding, a strength that carries us even when we feel like giving up. When we put divine words first, we stop letting circumstances dictate our peace. We stop being controlled by emotions, fears, or failures. Instead, we begin to move with purpose, knowing that even in uncertainty, we are being guided. The most powerful people in the world are not the ones who have never struggled. They are the ones who never stop believing. They are the ones who, even in their darkest nights, kept their faith alive. They didn't just pray when things were falling apart. They prayed when things were coming together, ensuring that their foundation was never shaken. Because when faith is the foundation, no storm can destroy what has been built. We must hold on to this truth. Life will shift, emotions will change, challenges will come and go, but we are never truly lost as long as we are anchored in something greater than ourselves. That is where real power begins, not in controlling the waves, but in knowing who controls the sea. There are moments in life when we feel like we are carrying the weight of the world on our shoulders. the pressure to succeed, to be enough, to make the right choices. It can all feel overwhelming. And in those moments, when the noise of expectations and fears drowns out our inner voice, we start to believe the biggest lie of all, that we are alone in this journey. But the truth is, we were never meant to walk alone. Think about it. The sun does not rise by itself, the ocean does not decide its tides, and the stars do not hold their place in the sky by their own will. There is a force, a presence, an undeniable power that moves everything in perfect harmony. If such precision exists in nature, how could we ever think that our lives are random? How could we ever believe that we are left to figure everything out on our own? The same power that holds the universe together holds us together. The same wisdom that orchestrates the galaxies is available to guide us, if only we choose to listen. But here's the challenge. Most of us are too busy trying to do everything on our own. We rely on our strength, our knowledge, our limited understanding, thinking that we have to be the ones in control. And yet, control is an illusion. Life has a way of humbling even the strongest, of reminding us that no matter how powerful we think we are, we will all face moments that bring us to our knees, and maybe, just maybe, that is exactly where we are meant to be. Because on our knees we pray. And when we pray, we connect to something bigger than ourselves. There is wisdom in surrender, not in giving up, but in giving over our fears, our doubts, our worries, and choosing to trust in something greater than what we can see. When we put divine words first, we stop carrying burdens that were never meant to be ours. We stop running in circles, chasing solutions that only lead to more confusion. Instead, we step into clarity, into peace, into the kind of strength that doesn't come from the world, but from within. No one is ever truly alone, not the brokenhearted, not the lost, not the ones who feel unseen. There is a presence that walks with us, even when we can't feel it. A voice that speaks even when we struggle to hear it. The question is, are we listening? Are we making space in our lives for the words that can transform everything? Because the moment we choose to, we realize that we were never abandoned, never forgotten, and never without guidance. We just have to be willing to reach out, to listen, to trust, and when we do, we step into a life that is not just lived, but led. There is power in words. The words we hear, the words we speak, and most importantly, the words we choose to live by. They shape our thoughts, define our beliefs, and ultimately create the reality we experience. But not all words are the same. Some fade with time, some mislead us, and some leave us empty, promising happiness, but delivering nothing but confusion. But there are words, timeless, unshakable, and filled with wisdom, that have guided generations before us, words that carry a power far beyond human understanding. These are the words that transform, that heal, that lead us to a life of purpose. The world constantly tells us what to believe. It tells us that success is measured by wealth, that happiness comes from achievements, that we must fit into certain molds to be valued. But if that were true, why do so many people, even those who seem to have everything, still feel lost? The truth is, when we build our lives on the words of the world, we build on shifting sand, unstable, temporary, unreliable. But when we build on divine wisdom, we build on a foundation that cannot be shaken. We gain a perspective that goes beyond the temporary highs and lows of life, beyond our fears, beyond our doubts. Real strength is not found in external validation, but in internal conviction. When we align our hearts with divine wisdom, we stop chasing happiness and start living in peace. We stop making decisions based on fear and start moving with clarity. We stop looking for approval and start walking with confidence, knowing that our worth has never been tied to the opinions of others. And the best part? This wisdom is available to everyone, not just to the powerful, not just to the successful, but to anyone willing to listen, to anyone ready to make space for something greater in their lives. It's easy to be consumed by the noise of the world. It's easy to scroll endlessly, to seek answers in temporary distractions, to fill our minds with things that do not nourish our souls. But deep down, we all crave something more, something real, something lasting. The answers we seek have always been there, waiting for us to look in the right place. When we choose to put these words first, when we choose to make them the foundation of our thoughts, decisions, and actions, everything changes. Not because life suddenly becomes perfect, but because we finally begin to see it through the right lens. Challenges no longer break us, they shape us. Success no longer blinds us, it humbles us. And most importantly, we no longer feel lost because we are finally walking in truth. Words have the power to shape lives, but not all words are created equal. Some inspire, some deceive, and some fade into the background, leaving no real impact. But then there are words that stand the test of time. Words that have guided generations, lifted the broken, and given hope when everything else seemed lost. These words are not just sentences on a page, they are alive, filled with wisdom beyond human understanding. They are a blueprint for a life that is not just successful, but meaningful. Too often we search for guidance in places that cannot give us real answers. We turn to social media for validation, to trends for direction, and to people who are just as lost as we are. But if we listen closely, we will realize that the most powerful words, the words that bring peace, strength, and clarity, have always been within our reach. They are not found in the noise of the world, but in the quiet moments when we choose to listen, to reflect, to seek something deeper than temporary satisfaction. We live in a world that constantly changes. What is celebrated today is forgotten tomorrow. What seems important now may be irrelevant in a few years. But true wisdom does not change with time. It remains steady, unwavering, and eternal. It speaks of love, of faith, of purpose. It reminds us that we are more than just what we do, more than our mistakes, more than the titles the world gives us. When we make these words the foundation of our lives, we stop chasing things that do not fulfill us. We stop seeking approval from people who will never truly understand our worth. Instead, we begin to live with confidence, knowing that our purpose is greater than any momentary success or failure. There will be times when life tests us, when things do not go according to plan, when we feel lost and uncertain. But those are the moments when we must hold on even tighter to the words that have never failed us. They remind us that we are never alone, that our battles are not ours to fight alone, and that there is a plan greater than what we can see. A house built on sand will not stand when the storm comes, but a house built on a solid foundation will endure anything. The same is true for our lives. When we build on truth, when we let divine words guide our decisions, our thoughts, and our hearts, we step into a life that cannot be shaken, a life of clarity, strength, and unshakable peace. We live in a world that constantly tells us where to look for answers. It tells us that success is in wealth, that happiness is in achievement, that love is in perfection. It tells us that if we work hard enough, if we prove ourselves enough, if we become enough, we will finally find the peace we are searching for. And so we run, we chase, we pour our energy into things that promise fulfillment but often leave us emptier than before. But if all the answers were truly in the world, why do so many people still feel lost? Why do people who seem to have it all still feel like something is missing? Why do we reach milestones only to find that the joy is temporary, that the satisfaction fades, that the questions never really stop? The truth is, the world does not have the answers we are searching for. It was never meant to, because real answers, the kind that bring lasting peace, cannot be found in things that are constantly changing. They are found in something deeper, something eternal, something that has been guiding lives long before us and will continue to guide long after we are gone. But too often, we put everything else first. We put work first, relationships first, ambitions first. We prioritize deadlines, opinions, and expectations, convincing ourselves that we will make space for faith when we have time. But faith is not something to be squeezed into the leftover moments of our lives. It is the foundation that everything else should be built upon. When we get this order wrong, we find ourselves chasing after things that do not fulfill us. But when we get it right, everything else falls into place. The world will always try to convince us that we must figure it all out on our own. But wisdom reminds us that we were never meant to carry that burden. There is guidance available to us, a source of wisdom that sees beyond our present moment, beyond our fears, beyond our doubts. When we pray, we align ourselves with that wisdom. When we put divine words first, we stop searching for meaning in places that cannot give it to us. We gain a new perspective. one that allows us to walk through life with confidence, knowing that we are not defined by what we achieve, but by the truth we stand on. Life is unpredictable. No amount of planning can prepare us for every twist and turn. But when we choose to be anchored in something greater, when we choose to be led by wisdom instead of the world, we stop fearing the unknown because we know that no matter what comes, we are never walking alone. The answers we need have always been there. We just have to stop looking for them in the wrong places. Life is a constant series of decisions. Every day we choose what to believe, what to prioritize, and what to follow. These choices shape our thoughts, our actions, and ultimately the life we live. But the question is, what are we allowing to guide us? Are we being led by temporary emotions, by the expectations of others, by the ever-changing standards of the world? Or are we choosing to be led by something greater, something steady, unshakable, and true? The truth is, whatever we put first in our lives holds the greatest power over us. If we put fear first, our decisions will be ruled by doubt. If we put success first, we may achieve much but still feel empty. If we put other people's opinions first, we will spend our lives trying to meet standards that were never meant for us. But when we put divine words first, when we allow wisdom to guide us instead of our own limited understanding, everything changes. We no longer move through life reacting to circumstances. We begin to respond with clarity, purpose, and unshakable faith. The world will always tell us that strength comes from independence, from figuring everything out on our own. But true strength is knowing where to turn for guidance. It is understanding that we don't have to carry the weight of the world alone. There is wisdom that has never failed, that has stood through generations, that has lifted the broken, given hope to the lost, and restored those who thought they had nothing left. That wisdom is available to all of us, but it is only as powerful as the place we give it in our lives. When we put these words first, we stop being controlled by our emotion. We stop allowing fear to dictate our steps. We stop making decisions that lead us further from peace. Instead, we start living with confidence, knowing that no matter what comes our way, we have a foundation that cannot be shaken. We walk through life with a sense of direction because we are no longer relying on ourselves. We are being led by something far greater. The most powerful thing we can do is choose where we place our trust. The world will change, people will change, circumstances will change, but divine truth remains the same. It does not shift with time, it does not break under pressure, and it does not fail in the face of uncertainty. When we make it the foundation of our lives, we do not just survive hardship, we rise above it. We do not just find success, we find meaning. And most importantly, we do not just live. We live with purpose, with clarity, and with a peace that nothing in this world can take away. Life has a way of testing us. Just when we think we have everything under control, something happens. A setback, a heartbreak, an unexpected turn that reminds us how little control we truly have. And in those moments, we are faced with a choice. Do we let fear take over? Or do we stand firm in faith? Do we allow the chaos of the world to dictate our emotions, or do we anchor ourselves in something greater? The answer to that question is not found in the moment of crisis. It is found in what we choose to put first every single day. When we make divine words the foundation of our lives, we don't just prepare for the good times. We prepare for the storms. We build strength not in the moments of struggle, but in the moments before them, in the quiet choices we make, in the commitment to trust something greater than ourselves. Because here's the truth, life will not always be easy. There will be obstacles, there will be disappointments, there will be moments when we question our path. But those who stand on a firm foundation do not crumble when the winds blow. They bend, they adapt, they rise stronger than before. The world teaches us to rely on external things for security, money, success, relationships, reputation. But what happens when those things fade? What happens when the job is lost, when the applause stops, when the things we once thought defined us are no longer there? If our sense of peace is built on things that can be taken away, then it is not peace at all. It is an illusion. Real peace comes from knowing that no matter what happens, we are rooted in something that cannot be shaken. Praying is not just about asking for things when we need them. It is about building a relationship, about strengthening our connection to the source of all wisdom and guidance. It is about making a daily choice to trust, to listen, to align our lives with something beyond what we see. And when we do that, we begin to move differently. We stop being consumed by worry. We stop being reactive to every challenge. We stop looking to the world for answers that it was never meant to give. The strongest people are not the ones who have never faced struggles. They are the ones who knew where to turn when struggles came. They did not allow fear to rule their decisions because they had already chosen faith long before the storm arrived. They did not break under pressure because they were standing on a foundation that had never failed them. And that is the choice we all have, the choice to build our lives on something temporary or to root ourselves in something eternal. The choice to be led by fear or to walk in unwavering faith. The choice to live a life of uncertainty or a life of purpose, clarity, and undeniable strength. There is a moment in life when we all stop and ask ourselves, am I on the right path? It doesn't matter how successful we are, how much we've achieved, or how many people admire us. At some point, we all come face to face with this question. Because deep down, beyond the noise of the world, beyond the expectations placed on us, beyond the race to prove ourselves, there is a longing for something more. Not more money, not more recognition, not more power. Something deeper, something real, something that makes us feel whole. We often search for that fulfillment in the world. We chase dreams, relationships, goals, believing that once we have them, we will finally feel at peace. And for a moment we do, but then the emptiness creeps back in. The same questions return, the same longing remains, and we wonder, why? Why do we still feel like something is missing, even when we have everything we once prayed for? The truth is, we were never meant to find fulfillment in things that fade. True peace, true purpose, true joy come not from what we gain, but from what we anchor our lives to. The world will always change, success will come and go, people will enter and leave our lives, circumstances will shift in ways we never expected, but there is one thing that remains the same, one thing that does not shift with time, does not break under pressure, does not fade when everything else does. It is wisdom, truth, faith, the words that have guided generations before us and will guide generations after. When we make these words the foundation of our lives, we stop being shaken by the storms. We stop searching for happiness in things that were never meant to complete us. We stop feeling lost because we finally have a map that leads us to something greater than ourselves. Praying is not just about asking for things when we are in need. It is about building a relationship, about aligning our hearts with a wisdom that sees beyond the moment, beyond the struggle, beyond our limited understanding. It is about choosing every single day to walk in faith instead of fear, to stand on truth instead of being swayed by uncertainty. And when we do that, we change not just in the way we think, but in the way we move, the way we lead, the way we show up in the world. We stop reacting to life and we start living it. There will always be distractions. There will always be voices pulling us in different directions. But in the end, the question remains the same. What will we choose to put first? If we choose the world, we will always be chasing something that never truly satisfies. But if we choose wisdom, if we choose truth, if we choose faith, we will find a peace that nothing in this world can take away, a strength that is unshakable, a purpose that is undeniable, a life that is not just successful but meaningful. And that, more than anything else, is what we are truly searching for. Life is a journey filled with moments of triumph and moments of doubt. There will be times when everything falls into place, when success feels effortless, when happiness seems unshakable. But there will also be times when we are tested, when the path ahead feels uncertain, when we question our purpose and wonder if we are truly where we are meant to be. It is in these moments, not in the easy ones, but in the difficult ones, that the foundation of our lives is revealed. Are we standing on something solid, something unshakable, something greater than ourselves? Or are we building on temporary things that crumble the moment the storm arrives? The world will always try to convince us that we must figure everything out on our own, that we must hustle, strive, and fight to create meaning in our lives, that our worth is measured by what we achieve, what we own, how we are perceived. But the truth is, real peace does not come from external success. It does not come from validation, from applause, from meeting expectations that were never ours to carry. It comes from knowing deep in our soul that we are not walking alone, that we are guided, that we are held, that we are moving with a purpose far beyond what we can see. Praying is not just about asking for help when we are struggling. It is about surrendering, about trusting, about aligning our hearts with a wisdom that does not change with time. It is about choosing every single day to put truth above fear, to put faith above doubt, to put purpose above the distractions of the world. Because when we do that, we begin to see life differently. Challenges no longer shake us, and even in the moments of uncertainty, we stand firm because we are no longer standing on our own understanding, but on something far greater. The choices we make every day shape the lives we live, and the most important choice we will ever make is what we allow to guide us. Will we chase the world and its fleeting promises, or will we root ourselves in something eternal? Will we let fear control our decisions, or will we walk in faith, trusting that the path ahead is already laid out for us? The answer to that question determines everything, not just how we handle success, but how we rise from failure. Not just how we navigate the good times, but how we endure the storms. No one walks through life without facing struggles. No one moves forward without moments of doubt. But those who are anchored in truth, those who choose to put wisdom first, those who pray and believe, they do not just survive, they thrive, they rise, they live, not just with success, but with purpose. And in the end, that is the greatest victory of all, a life that is not just filled with achievements, but with meaning. Not just with moments of happiness, but with an unshakable, unwavering peace. And that is a life worth living.